go.
Good morning around the Diamond family. We are back. We took a week off. We needed to recharge the batteries a bit, get our juices flowing again, but we are back. It is another beautiful day, and we are here. Baseball Bill, how are you doing on this fine Saturday morning?
It's another day. I get to go to a ballpark today. I'm going to Petco, so I'm excited.
And there you go. There you go. Well, it is going to be a great day of baseball. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into it. I'll take these AL standings this week. Looking at the AL, the Rays are still on top in that AL East, but the Orioles are pinching at their heels. Orioles had a win against, unfortunately, my Giants last night, but when you're going up against one of the best teams in baseball, you just got to put up the fight. Yankees holding strong, and Blue Jays and Red Sox are, down there. Taking it over to the Central, the Twins are currently still holding place, but as well, the Tigers, who have been playing exceptional baseball of late, are picking up the game and they are moving up that leaderboard. Guardians are taking some dives, moving down to third place, and still trying to figure out what's going on with the White Sox, with the Royals taking up the rear. Moving over all the way to the West, the Rangers are on top right now. It was kind of a back and forth for a little bit between the Astros and the Rangers, but right now, Rangers on there. Astros picking up the rear, not far behind. Really, the AL West minus the A's is pretty close in competition, and it's still a wide open game right over there. But the A's, we'll see you next year in Vegas.
We'll see you
Bill,
next year in
anything on
Vegas.
this?
So watch out for the Rangers. They're playing very cohesive as a team. If you watch them, watch out for those guys. Watch out for the Orioles. And the White Sox are starting to make their move, but they're just so far behind. It's gonna get like they have to beat up on everybody in their division. So
Yeah.
anytime they play the Twins, Tigers, Guardians, they've got to win.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything that's shocking you here?
Um, the Angels, the Angels are taking a little bit of their slide. With Shohei and Trout and some of the pitching that they have, they should be a lot better than they are, but
Yeah.
they're doing what they do. And what's interesting to me is that they take they take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and then 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. They're just I can't figure out why they're not gelling. And now they're 7.5 games out, and everything is bigger in Texas. So you've got the Rangers and the um the Astros, so they've got an uphill battle. And Shohei, pitched last night and it didn't go so well for him. So, you know, uh, yeah,
Well,
I
we will
did.
see
How
what
Go ahead.
I was gonna say. We will see what continues to happen in that West, as it is, as I mentioned, still a fairly close battle. But going into June with the All-Star break behind it, you got to make moves now so you can kind of pick your poison come July, come the rest of July and August.
hmm hmm I did, however, think Jackson yesterday on the weekly review. If you listen to it, I did think Jackson yesterday from who's the Braves fan. I said, I want to thank you. I want to thank you and the Braves organization for being so kind, dropping 2 out of 3 to the A's and giving them 15% of their total wins for the year. That's very kind of you. Jackson loved me, let me tell you.
I'm sure he did.
All
Bill,
right.
take us to these NL standings. What are you seeing?
Braves still up, although Braves have had a rough 10 game slot. The Mets are starting to figure it out. Justin Verlander pitched last night and didn't get the win, got the L actually. Marlins are surprisingly good this season. The Phillies are surprisingly bad for a team that went to the World Series last year. Now, personally, the Phillies started out this way last year and ended up in the World Series, so I'm not counting them out just yet. And the Nationals are doing what the Nationals are going to do. Brewers and Pirates are separated by a half a game. and the Pirates are holding strong. But that again, both Central divisions, both American League and National League, are the weaker divisions in baseball right now. The Reds are kind of making their play. We'll see what the Cubs do, and the Cardinals are still shocking that they're in the basement. The Diamondbacks and Dodgers are tied for first place. The Diamondbacks have a better record head to head, so obviously the Diamondbacks are in the top seed if the season were to end today. But both the Diamondbacks and Dodgers have the best record in the NL. The Giants are still figuring it out. Padres, oh my gosh, we could have a whole segment on what's going on down in San Diego. But that's kind of my recap on the National League. Any shockers to you in the National League right now?
Well, first off, if we were to have a segment just all on the Padres, there'd be two giant smiles on the screen. It'd be one from you and from me with how bad they're playing.
Uh,
The thing with the Phillies right now is, yeah, they were kind of in this position last year, but the difference between last year and this year is that they had gotten rid of Joe Girardi, and that kind of lit a fire under them. What are they going to do? Get rid of another manager, hire someone else, and do the same thing? You can't repeat skippers. It's just not in baseball. So they need to just figure it out. They just need to get together. They need to, right now it's not looking good that they're going to have a huge all-star presence. So they need to take that all-star week if they are still in this type of a position and they need to figure it out. They just do. They don't
yeah.
have. When it comes to the Central, yeah, I think the Cardinals are probably the biggest shocker on this entire board. I think more than the Phillies, especially with the fact that the Cardinals have two National League MVP, regular candidates on the inside corners. So just really shocking. And then I just love seeing the Padres below the Giants in the bottom half of the division in the West. So yeah,
There you go. Giddy up.
giddy
All
up.
right.
So let's take a look at some of these stats now. Around the Diamond fans, top fans, just want to advise you, the stats you're going to see on the next couple of slides have not been updated as of yesterday. So all of the stats were taken from what had been concluded on Thursday night and was available on Friday. Unfortunately, didn't have enough time to get these updated for this morning, but we will ensure that they're perfectly updated for next week. Looking at these, Bill, why don't you take us through the batters?
Okay. So if you notice, very few of these names on both the hitting and the pitching are from teams that aren't making playoff runs, i.e., Diaz from Colorado. Uh, Obviously, actually, that's it, really. I mean, because everybody else is trying to make playoff runs.
I think
But
no, you got Devers from Boston right now. They're not really in a playoff contention position.
they can be. But
They can.
I mean, Boston can be. So Freddie Freeman broke his 20-game hitting streak yesterday. He went 0 for 5, hit the ball really, really hard, just right at people. Bo Bichette is doing Bo Bichette. Ronald Acuna is amazing. Don't ever take anything away from Ronald Acuna. Diaz, we'll see how that rolls. The RBI guys, you have 5 people on this list, and all 5 of these people have a chance for over 100 RBIs this season. Because
Yes.
keep in mind, we're 55, not even 60 games into this. So if you actually, in essence, to keep math easy, triple these numbers, some of these people have a chance for almost 150 RBIs, which is insane. So no shockers here on this list, really. I want to thank Dodgers ownership for throwing away Yordan Alvarez like he was nothing. That seems to make sense now. Just
I
like when we
believe,
threw
though, he
away,
was actually the first one to 50 RBIs last night on a
yeah,
two-run homer by Shohei off of Shohei Ohtani.
yeah. So just like Pedro Martinez was too skinny according to Tommy Lasorda, and we had to get rid of him, which that seemed to play out because Pedro never had a decent career at all. Eye roll. Same thing here. Same thing here.
Yeah, it's look, you make baseball decisions, management and ownership makes decisions in baseball based on what's in front of them at the time. Obviously, they can't predict the future. They're not us. if they were Baseball Bill and Grand Slam Sam, we'd be the managers of every baseball team. We would know what was going to be happening.
Right.
Taking it over to the pitcher side, though, Shane is still doing what Shane's been doing all year, leading MLB with 8 wins. But Zach Gallen, this kid right now is on fire and easily, in my opinion, the lead candidate for the NL Cy Young. I don't think right now there's really much doubt in the National League, but Mitch Keller, though, keeping the Pirates in it with 7 wins. And Kyle Gibson is doing what he's been doing in Baltimore to really keep that Orioles team, at the top of the AL East leaderboard. Taking it over to the strikeouts, though, Gausman's still been killing it. Spencer Stash Strider, as Bill likes to say, is still leading the ball with 106 strikeouts. And then Ohtani has reappeared on this list, bringing it back up to the 90 mark. Any surprises on the pitching side, real quick?
Not at all. Hunter Green is good, and nobody pays attention to him because he plays in Cincinnati. But Hunter Green is good. Now, keep in mind, as we talked about, Cincinnati's only 4 games out of first place.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of in a very weak division where they can take that division. But again, if you times this by 3, you've got 5 people on here that could potentially get over 300 strikeouts. So again, the offense is clicking, the defense is clicking. MLB's loving life.
Yes, 100%. So let's run through some quick things here on some interesting stats that we like to do. We're not going to take a lot of time on these. We're going to fly right through them. Stolen base count. This, because we took off last week, we obviously didn't get the numbers for where we were at last week. But as of right now, well, as of yesterday, we're up to 1,205 stolen bases in the season. Bill, offense is still just taking immense advantage of these rules. And it's not just on this side, it's also going to be on the second slide. Anything shocking you here?
No, again, I mean, Ruiz is playing for a contract someplace other than Oakland/Vegas. And again, you have Atlanta, Tampa, Arizona, these teams that nobody thought that that Tampa or Arizona would be as good as they are. And yet they're learning how to play the small ball. They're learning how to make things happen. So,
yeah. It's really
nothing
interesting
shocking.
to see it, though. What about this one?
Yeah.
We are 2 weeks ago, we were at 1,547 home runs. Now we've gone up 400 home runs. And that's even higher technically because we didn't include last night's home runs.
Yeah.
Judge has reemerged on this list. Pete Alonso is holding strong at the top of the ladder. Max Muncy, Olsen, and Soler all keeping strong with 17. And these guys right now are realistically on track for 45 plus home runs. I mean, Bill, anything like I don't know, anything on this?
No, they're just seeing the ball well. Again, with the exception of Aaron Judge on this list, these guys are swinging for the fences. Aaron Judge is hitting almost 300. So, with the exception of these guys on this, again, you've got to be a little bit more round player, not Pete Alonso round, but a little bit more round at the plate.
That's fair.
Right?
Very true. Very true. But it's
Sorry,
just gonna
Pete, if you listen to this, I was joking. Sam made me do it.
Yes, it was all me. And you are more than welcome to throw that blame on me because I don't like the Mets.
He lives close to you, Pete. He lives close to you. I'll get you his address.
Bring it on. Bring it on. I'll have Bryce Harper come and compete with you. Moving into the injury report, only a couple of guys out for the rest of the season this year. We got a couple of guys out with some small tweak injuries. A few guys out till mid-July, right after the All-Star break. My feeling is they're trying to just going to give these guys some rest to try to get them ready for the second half of the season, like McCullers and Gordon. But you're seeing we're back to seeing more guys getting out for the season due to injuries, specifically around their arms, and these are pitchers again.
Yep.
So, I always bring this back to the question. When is MLB going to do something to start protecting these pitchers with these new rules that they're putting in play?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. The MLB's got to protect their their billions plural organization, but they've got to realize or corporation, but they got to realize that the people that are making them the money, if they can't lift up a straw at the end of their career, and have to live another 30 or 40 years that way, was it worth it?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think my bigger thing is what is it gonna take? Is it gonna take a guy like Garrett Cole or Shohei getting out for the season due to an arm injury for them to
Yep.
realize, okay, we need to adjust these rules for the pitchers because 15 seconds isn't enough time, they don't get enough rest? Like,
No, um it's gonna take something like a Garrett Cole and a Shohei getting injured in the same season and being on
yeah,
the IL on the same time. Uh, you know, and a lot of these injuries that you're seeing here, everybody are, they're out until June, or they're out until the end of I'm sorry, they're out until the end of June or in July, which July is just right around the corner. And Cedric Mullins, that one hurts the Orioles because he was really kind of performing. So
yeah,
yeah, MLB is going to have to look at this at the end of the season.
yeah, and they're really gonna have to make some moves. But let's get into some fun topics.
Yeah, giddy up. This
So
is what I'm
that
excited for.
we've got to condense this. We've got to, time is of the essence. So let's go into some real fun topics right now.
Fun
These
topics.
we mentioned it before when we were talking about the standings. We highlighted them in the AL standings by providing you with their beautiful view from their stadium. But these Tigers right now are just on a roll. They're putting things together, they're figuring it out, they're playing like a fun group of guys that want to really send Miggy out on his high horse. I mean, look at that guy. I mean, look at that face. Look at
Yeah,
that.
Miggy.
Bill, what is it about this Tigers team right now that is just causing them to put everything together at the right moment?
So I'm gonna say the same thing about the Tigers as I would about the Diamondbacks. They're young enough and they're dumb enough to not know that they're doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, right? I mean, and no disrespect to Tigers fans, but they're young, they're moving, they're putting the ball in play, they're playing small ball, and they're beating up on the teams that they need to beat up on. So if you look at their schedule for this month, they've got two more with the White Sox, three with the Phillies. They could potentially go 3-2 or 4-1. Then they get the Diamondbacks, Braves, Twins. Okay, there you're gonna get some competition. Then you got the Royals, Twins, Rangers, and Colorado. But they're beating up on the teams that they need to beat up on, i.e., they took 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals at the beginning of last month. They took 2 out of 3 from the Guardians. They lost 2 out of 3 against the Mariners, but split with the Pirates. Uh, took uh, took 2 out of 3 against the Royals. Took 2 out of 3. I'm sorry, 3 out of 4 with the White Sox. So they're beating up on the teams that they need to beat up on. They're only 4 games out or 4.5 games out of first place. And that is a big deal. Or 3.5, I'm sorry. That's a big deal. They play in a weak division. Take
Mhm.
advantage of it. Take advantage of it now, please. So
And
that's what I have to say about the Tigers. And they play in a
yeah,
gorgeous ballpark, by the way. So
oh, yes, they do. But real quick, just to add on to that is, you're right. They're beating up on the teams they need to beat up on. But you and I both know once this All-Star break hits, and fans, remember, we're only about a month away from the All-Star break. So it's going to
correct.
be here before we know it. So I'm bringing this up because once the All-Star break is over and teams are back, they kick it into another gear. So
Mhm.
if the Tigers want to really compete for October, this is the time they need to really take advantage of these easy wins because once the break is over and we're back to baseball mid-June, mid-July, all these teams are going to be playing completely different. It's not going to be the same. So keep an eye on that.
Mhm.
But with having some veterans and a lot of youth coming into the Tigers, there's been a cohesive thing that's been happening really around the league in the last couple of weeks. And they're letting these rookies play.
Yeah.
We are seeing more rookies, in my opinion, coming up and being dominant now than I think we've seen in the last couple of years. To a point where I think I think any of the five guys minus the guy in the top middle, realistically, these guys are all playing their hearts out and are just dominating on the field. Just
Mhm. Mhm.
dominating. Bill,
Yeah.
what do you
The so by the way, is Casey Schmidt still up with you guys, or has he
Yep.
been sent down?
Nope, he's still there.
Okay, that kid is good. That kid is phenomenal. And I hate to say that as a Dodger fan, but to quote "Coming to America," that boy good. I mean, that he is good stuff. I love the fact that the kids are playing. Major League Baseball went too far one direction
Yep.
this last offseason, where they tossed so much cash out, so much cash out that they got to let the younger guys play that they can get for the league minimums or a little bit over that. Because if you don't do that, how are you going to afford it? How are the Padres going to afford paying Juan Soto and going after Shohei Ohtani? Shohei Ohtani is going to want 500, $600 million. How are you going to afford that? Well, if the
Mhm.
Angels pay him $600 million between he and Trout, that's $1 billion.
Yeah.
So how are you going to afford other players? Well, the answer to that question is you got to let the kids play. And these guys are doing so well. They're producing and I love watching them struggle. I love watching them struggle a little bit. James Outman's going through a little bit of a rough spot. But I love it. I absolutely love it because they're young and they need to learn how. They need to learn how to work it through at the MLB level. So I like it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, it's exciting. And I think you hit the nail right on the head. Right on the head.
I
So much
mean,
money was thrown out last year. I mean, let's look at the Yankees real quick. The Yankees have $1 billion payroll between three players: Judge, Cole, and Stanton. And they still have Stanton for another 3 to 4 years. So it's not like Stanton's going anywhere. There, no team's going to trade for him, first off, because they know they're either going to get over 100 something strikeouts and somewhere in the realm of 30 home runs with a 1 or a 201 batting average, probably, because that's what happens with Stanton. But then look at the Padres and the amount of money they've invested over five players, along with them wanting to get Shohei Ohtani and along with them wanting to re-sign Juan Soto. They just don't have the funds. Now, as a Giants fan, Giants fans have always said in the past the Dodgers buy their team. Well, the Dodgers realistically have become a National League West team and similar to the Giants, where they have players that they're paying a top dollar for. It's not the Dodgers of old where it was bring in the best players and we'll put them on the field. Now it's youth around those players to
yep.
accentuate their skill.
So
So,
look,
and
so look at some of them by the numbers real quick. Sorry about that, Sam, but look at them by the numbers. Josh Jung, 12 home runs, batting 290 in 53 games, 210 plate appearances. Corbin Carroll he's of Texas, obviously. Corbin Carroll of Arizona is hitting 288, 191 at bats. Only has 9 home runs, but he has 16 stolen bases. So again, it's the youth movement, and they're making the game faster. And I hate to say it, but as they make the game faster and quicker, guys like um, Brandon Crawford. I'm sorry, first ballot Hall of Famer Brandon Crawford.
yeah, right.
Um, Mookie Betts, I dare to say it. Freddie Freeman are going to be phased out of the game earlier in their careers than they would have normally been.
I think my personal opinion is I wouldn't look at and compare like a Mookie Betts to a Brandon Crawford because there's such a big age gap right now between those two. Mookie
Well,
Betts is in the
and
young
remember,
prime of,
one's a Hall of Famer and Brandon Crawford. The other one, who knows?
yeah, I mean Mookie Betts, who knows what's going to happen with him. But he doesn't have 3 World Series under his belt, but whatever. Or 2 World Series under his belt, but he'll get there one day. Anyway, a guy like Brandon Crawford, who's at the end of his career, is in that transitional phase where he's becoming a veteran presence and helping these young guys get set up for success in the future. Where Mookie Betts is in the youth prime of his career, right hitting the mid-age prime point. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like these last 3 years have been like the youth like lead status of his career. Now he's into that meaty point of it. So I see Mookie Betts rocking out that rest of the contract and playing every single game of it. I don't see someone coming in and taking over a Mookie Betts guy. But when you're seeing older players that are still playing the game, like a Brandon Crawford, you need to bring up a Casey Schmidt. So Brandon can see, okay, I'm kind of done. And it's great when you also get young guys again. And talking just the Giants, you got like a guy like Blake Sable who's shown that he can be a dynamic, two-way player. He can play in left field or anywhere in the outfield, and also come in and be a catcher. In all honesty, I've said this to other people. Joey Bart's probably out of a job in San Francisco. I think his time has come. Sad to say it, but I think we're there. But we could talk about letting the kids play all day. It's so fun to see these rookies come up, but we unfortunately don't have enough time to talk about it all day. Bill, you put together a nice, not just podcast schedule coming up, but you put together a very interesting IG live schedule. So interesting. I had to give you a slide for each of them.
Yeah.
So take me through your podcast schedule real quick. Because you
So the
got some
podcast schedule is simple. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about kind of what's going on Monday. Then we have By the Numbers, which is 46 through 50. We got 4 guys on there talking that. The Astros 4 are going to be on Wednesday, and then I've got a couple waiting to confirm for this week. So it'll be fun for the podcast schedule. But let's talk about that next slide that you got going on, because that one's exciting.
Yes. So take me
Okay.
through it.
So today I'm going to Petco. We're going to do a quick Instagram live there. Then you got the series recap, which we always do a Dodgers series recap at the end of each series. So we have 2 Yankee fans coming on, Mikey Bleeds Blue and myself, to be honest, Dodger fans. And then I got a doubleheader Tuesday for you. Jackson's going to talk the Braves, and then followed up by 3 ladies talking about the Mets, the mighty, mighty Mets. And as of yesterday morning, we launched it, the morning show, the Top Fan Rivalry morning show, which I am actually going to be calling in the leagues, where I am going to be talking about what happened the night before and what's going to happen that day for only 1/2 hour. I'll have special guests on. It'll be a lot of fun, but don't miss it. 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday.
Awesome. I love it. Hopefully I'm honored and lucky enough to become a guest on that show one time.
Oh, you'll be on there. You'll be on there, my friend.
I can't wait. So real quick to take it through just a couple of final things. We got 2 watch parties coming up in June. There is one on June 20th. This is going to be in Atlanta at the Park Bench and Battery on June 20th, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. when the Braves are in Philadelphia taking on the Phillies. You're not going to want to miss that. And then the 10 days later, Bill is making his way over to Houston, going to see the Astros while they are playing in against the Texas Rangers. That'll be on June 30th from 6:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. 21 plus for both locations in Atlanta as well as Houston. So if you're under 21, sorry. See you next time. If you're over 21, make sure you get there. Make sure you register. The only place you can register, though, is topfanrivalry.com. And if you're already watching the show, you should already be a fan on topfanrivalry.com. So make sure you go to the watch party section and make sure you register if you're in the area. On top of that, Bill, any final notes for our fans?
No, no, just have one word for you. One word for you. Are you ready for this, Sam?
I'm ready for the word of the day.
App.
App. I think that means some things are coming. We're going to hold the surprise. We're going to contain the excitement for a little while, possibly a week, maybe a little bit longer. But keep in mind what Bill just said. App. App.
App. That's right. All right, Top
Baseball
10
fans,
Rivalry
top 10
followers.
rivalry fans.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. From Baseball Bell and Grand Slam Sam, we thank you as always for joining us, and we will see you on the field next week. Have a good rest of your week.
See you guys.